Get ready for a chilling true fact from Nebraska that might make you question who's really working beside you. Prepare to encounter a ghostly presence from Nebraska's past with this chilling truth. The Museum of American Speed in Lincoln, dedicated to preserving automotive history, is reportedly haunted by its very own phantom mechanic. Staff and visitors have witnessed the apparition of a man in greasy overalls, often seen tinkering with engines or wandering through the vast collections, only to vanish inexplicably when approached. His presence is accompanied by strange noises, inexplicable cold spots, and the unsettling feeling of being watched, suggesting that some spirits remain dedicated to their craft even beyond the grave.
This story came from a guy named Tyler. He worked summer maintenance at a grain facility outside Grand Island and says he still dreams about that door. I was 17 the summer I took the job. My uncle ran a big grain facility, storage, silos, elevators. It was loud, dusty, and hot, but it paid decent and kept me out of trouble. Most days, I cleaned out equipment, swept tunnels, or helped grease the conveyor belts. There was one central tower where the grain moved through, a big concrete vertical that housed the lift and some service rooms. I didn't go in there often. It creeped me out. On the third week, my uncle asked me to help clear out one of the side corridors. Old supply closet, he said. That's when I saw it. An interior door I swear hadn't been there the day before. Dark red metal, scratched up. It looked ancient, like it had been installed back when the place was first built. The weird thing? It was chained shut. Heavy-duty links wrapped through the handle and bolted to the frame. I asked my uncle about it. He frowned and said, "You sure it was there?" I nodded. He muttered something under his breath and told me to leave it alone. Next morning, I came back early, wanted another look. The chain was still there, but now the door had scratch marks all over the bottom, deep ones like metal scraping concrete. I leaned in, and for a second, I thought I heard something, a dragging sound, faint, like someone pulling a heavy object across the floor, inside the room. I backed away. Over the next few days, the scratches got worse. They crept outward, like something had clawed at the floor from underneath. I tried not to look at it, but every time I passed that hallway, I felt this tightness in my chest, like I was being watched. Then, on Friday, the chain was gone. Not broken, gone. No pieces, no marks on the wall, just the door, slightly ajar. There were fresh drag marks leading out. I didn't go near it. I found my uncle and told him. He rushed back with me. But when we got there, the chain was back in place. Door shut, no marks. He stared at it for a long time, then said, "You didn't open it, right?" I shook my head. "Don't," he said. "And if it ever is open again, don't follow the trail, just come find me." I quit 2 days later. But before I left, I walked past the door one last time. Carved into the paint, fresh, jagged lines was my name. Just 6 letters. Like something inside had learned it. This one came from a guy named Ryan. He worked part-time at the fairgrounds one summer. Now he says he won't even ride the Ferris wheel because he's not sure who's riding with him. It was my last summer before college, and I took a job working rides at the Lancaster County Fair. I was assigned to the far side, smaller stuff like the spinning barrels and kiddie coaster. Nothing high stress. Next to my station was an old, dark ride, the kind with slow-moving carts and flickering lights inside. I think it used to be called the Haunted Barn, but the sign was so faded you couldn't read it anymore. Nobody liked working it. The ride broke down a lot and half the bulbs inside were dead. Still, it ran. 4 carts, each fitting 2 people. Thing was, nobody ever talked about loading it. Or unloading. But every night when we shut things down, the system showed it had logged rides. Real ones. Tickets scanned, carts triggered, the whole thing. but no one on our shift remembered seeing people go in or come out. I brought it up once during cleanup. "Booth 9?" one of the guys said. "Yeah, just don't worry about that one. System's old, it runs tests at night." But that wasn't true. The test runs were done in the mornings before the gates opened. I knew because I'd helped with them once. One night I stayed late, helping a friend count tokens. It was after midnight, fairgrounds dead quiet, when I noticed Booth 9's control screen was still active. I walked over. The carts were moving, slow, creaking through the track. The speakers inside were on, too, static mixed with faint carnival music. I leaned into the entrance and called, "Anyone in there?" No answer. Then I heard it, a voice through the PA. Not an announcement, just one word, "Here." I stepped back so fast I tripped over the gate. Next day, I asked the ride manager if there was an intercom inside the carts. He said no. That night, I stood outside the booth around closing. One of the carts came back with the bars still down, like someone was holding it shut. The ride attendant looked confused. He hit the release and the bar popped up. Nobody inside. I checked the scan log, 2 riders, logged at 9:14 p.m. Ticket IDs were active. I searched them on the system. Both were registered to last year's fare. Both marked expired. On my last shift, I took a photo of the cart screen as it finished a ride. When I looked at it later, I noticed something. A face, blurred, pressed up against the plexiglass in the last cart. Mouth open. I showed no one. I deleted it a week later. But sometimes I still hear that warped music in my head. And every so often, I dream I'm in that booth, watching carts return, and waiting for one that never does. This story came from a guy named Mason. He says when harvest season comes around, he won't work fields unless he knows every single person by name. I worked a fall harvest out near Kearney, Nebraska. You get up before the sun, ride a combine for 12 hours, and maybe catch a sandwich in the middle. It's quiet, long work, but I liked it. The crew was small, 5 of us, running 2 combines, a grain cart, and 1 truck. We rotated, but everyone knew each other. Farm families, locals. On the second week, I noticed someone new out in the field. Hoodie up, brown sweatshirt, jeans, boots. I assumed it was one of the extra hands the owner sometimes brought in for the busy days. Didn't think much of it. Until the next day, when I asked, "Who's the guy in the brown hoodie?" They all looked at me. "What guy?" I pointed across the field, where he'd been helping load the grain truck the day before. But no one else had seen him. "You sure it wasn't one of us?" they asked. I wasn't. That afternoon, I saw him again, just standing near the edge of the field. Not working, not moving, hood up, watching. I waved, no response. When I looked back after dumping the hopper, he was gone. I checked with the foreman, asked if we added anyone. He checked the log. "Still just 5, he said. That night, I looked through the photos I'd taken with my phone. I'd snapped a few during the morning, sunrise over the field, one of the truck half full, one with the crew lined up during a break. In one photo, I remembered clearly. The guy in the brown hoodie was walking behind the truck. But in the image, empty space, no one there. The other pictures showed the rest of us fine. Faces clear, hands blurry from movement. But in every one where I remembered seeing that guy, he just wasn't in the frame. Next day, I rode the grain cart out solo to the north field. Halfway through the run, I saw him again, standing by the old irrigation pipe. I stopped the cart and shouted, "You need something?" He turned, slow, like it took effort, then walked back into the corn. I waited a minute, then followed his tracks. Nothing. No sound, just rows of corn and the rustling of dry stalks. That night, I didn't tell anyone. I just zoomed in on that old photo again, on the space behind the truck. And for a second, just a blur, I swear I saw the top of a hood, like someone ducking down. They say harvest fields can play tricks on you, but I know what I saw. And whoever he wasn't part of our crew.